good evening, good evening, good evening to everyone joining in from India, Malaysia, and today Thailand too. Welcome to Heart with Ethel Da Costa in association with the Mac Clinic, Malaysia's premier and very very luxurious aesthetic institution. And Dr. Mac today is busy at the W, so he may or he may not join us, but as we know, we have a very special guest today joining in from Thailand. It's like a Goa to Goa connection happening because I'm also meeting my guest today after a very very long time. That I can't remember. I think 3-4 years is when I probably last met Shannon Creado, and today he will join us from Thailand. But in the meantime, that you have found your my Facebook page and kind of settling down with a cup of tea or a beer or a glass of wine. Just relax, chill in. It is Sunday evening today, and a lot of things, lot of exciting things that we will talk about, which is very dear to me and to my guests as well in terms of travel, hospitality, F&B, and a lot of inputs, to kind of pick up from him, basically in terms of, all the game changers that we will see in 2022 and 2023 in the travel and hospitality industry, because all the borders are open, people are traveling voraciously. All the airports are like buzzing, aircrafts are full because I've just been doing a little bit of travel myself. Even local travel in Malaysia is going with packed aircrafts back and forth. So it's great news for travelers like us, who love to kind of either as a blogger or as a destination influencer or as foodies to kind of to experience this resurgence of activity that is happening. We completely and absolutely love it, and it's great vibes. So the next 6 months, because we are in June 2022, look very exciting. And it's also half year, so it's a half year audit as well to figure out what we did with our lives in 2022, the year of the tiger, and what we want to do the next 6 months to kind of catch up with the things that we didn't do from Jan to June, I guess. But in the meantime, welcome to Heart with Ethel Da Costa. You're at the right spot, the right place with two fantastic, individuals, myself and Shannon Creado, to talk about, what we love to discuss, which is basically very, very soul conversations about leadership, conversations about work that we love, the kind of support we can lend to communities that we are part of, and also learn from each other at the same time. So hang in there and let me see where Shannon is. Yep, he's backstage with us. So a short introduction to Shannon Creado. To friends in Goa, we all know Shannon. To friends in Malaysia, I'm very happy to introduce Shannon Creado because his professional journey has been so interesting and exciting at the same time too. From beginning, as a telecom professional, which Shannon will also share with us. Then, his entire life change that kind of happened when he joined in, the hospitality industry as a director, sales and marketing with Marriott International. And now, that whole journey, climbing up the corporate ladder, so to say, internationally. Shannon today is the cluster director, sales and marketing, Samui and global international markets at Minor Hotels. And he will share, what has been his learning curves as well, climbing up the corporate ladder, so to say. So let me just see what Shannon is doing. I hope he has a nice chilled drink with him to join in the conversation. And let me just get Shannon on air with us. Shannon, there you are. Hi,
Hey,
welcome.
Ethel. Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. Good to be here. And
Yes.
hello to all my friends in Goa or in Malaysia. And I'll have some new friends very soon when I come to Malaysia next. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's great to be on the show. And yeah, looking forward to the next 1 hour with you.
Yeah, welcome, Shannon. As I was
Thank
saying,
you.
I think we ourselves have met in a very, very long time, correct?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been
yeah,
years. It's been years
yeah.
because I've been out of Goa for for a good number of years. Even though I keep on making sure I take the occasional trip back home, it's been
Hmm.
a few years that I've actually been out of Goa. Of course, barring the pandemic when I
Yes,
was in Goa. But
yeah,
then, of
that's correct.
course, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, awesome. So you're in Thailand, I'm in Malaysia, and a whole lot of our Goan friends, were very excited as soon as the kind of the poster went out. It's like, oh my God, Shannon is going to be, on heart to heart with Ethel. Yeah, it's like the Goa flag.
yeah. We all love our Goa.
We all love our Goa, yeah. And I think it's time, I was told that in some years gone by that there was actually an Air Asia direct flight from Kuala Lumpur to Goa. Unbelievable, you know. And a lot of people
Yeah.
from Malaysia went to Goa on board that flight.
I guess it's to do with the connection with Malacca and the St. Francis Xavier connection. So that kind of also was the hope of AirAsia when they introduced that flight. So
Correct.
yeah, well, let's
Yeah.
hope it comes back again. Then you'd have more trips back home.
Yes, I know. Yeah, looking forward to. Fingers crossed. So right. So let's just jump straight into our conversation. As I was, telling my audiences as well. Correct. Our today's topic is very dear to your heart. I know that, which is basically upscaling hospitality services as a game changer in 2022 and 2023. You yourself, were in India just a few weeks back, and you've seen, how enthusiastic and excited the F&B and the travel industry is in India itself. Why don't you tell us, my audiences, about your journey from being a telecom professional to hospitality, Shannon? So interesting this is.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I was, I finished my postgrad at Go University, and immediately after that, I joined AT&T in sales. And at that point of time, it was all about sales. We had a new company that had come into Goa. Not many people had heard of that company. And that company happened to be one of my key accounts. So I would be in their office practically every second day, uh, talking about their billing issues or connectivity or some more connections that they were looking at. And
Yes,
the general manager, so that the company was Marriott. As I said, at that point of time, no one knew who Marriott was because the Goa Marriott was the first Marriott property in India.
that is
And
true.
then I had a general manager, Hans Rorba, and I remember one day him coming to me and saying, "You spend more time in our office than in your own. Why don't you join us?" And I was like, "You got to be kidding me, right?" I mean, I know nothing about the hospitality industry, and we were in February that point of time, 1999, and he said, "What do you look after?" So I said, "Corporate sales." He said, "That's exactly the market that we want to go after. So it'd just
Yeah.
be selling a different product to your customers." So I took the leap, and the rest is history. Never for a moment did I regret that.
Yes.
So
Awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
And it's been what? It's been, I think, what, almost 20 years? More than 20 years now.
23 years now. Actually, wow, that makes me
Right?
see so old. Yeah, from 99 onwards. It's been an
Wow. Yeah.
interesting journey because Marriott also, like me, gave opportunities to several people in Goa. So you'd
Yes.
find my colleagues all across the globe, from the US to Australia to Ireland. And I mean, you'd find even at that point of time, people who'd never really traveled on a domestic flight now
Yes.
living in Ireland and having families in Ireland and in the UK, all thanks to
Yeah.
Marriott. So it was one day, I think in 2006, where suddenly I had my boss John Toomey at that point of time, who gave me a call and said, "What do you think about Korea?" And I'm in my
Oh,
mind thinking, "Where is Korea?"
yeah. It's
So
Korea.
I went back home and I spoke to my wife Tracy. I said, "Can you imagine?" He said, "He wants me to consider Korea." And she
Yeah.
was like, "Why not?" And I'm like, "But I don't even know where Korea is on the map." So there we go, searching for Korea. And all we had heard about was, of course, what happens in North Korea. And yeah, JW Marriott Seoul was my next step from the Goa Marriott, and that was a AAA hotel for Marriott. So it was one of the key profitability hotels for Marriott. So it was, I'd say, baptism by fire, because that hotel
Yeah.
really taught me a lot, and that helped to shape my journey from there on. From there on, I moved
Right.
to Thailand, to Phuket, and yeah, it's been a good 23 years, as I said.
Yeah. Exciting, right, Shannon? The kind of
Yep,
things that happen to
absolutely.
you at least expected, kind of moments, right? And then
Yeah, I
it
mean,
can
even
change your
Phuket, it
life.
was, yeah, he was like, again, another call one day, and he's like, we need someone with resort experience. What do you think about Phuket? And I had actually gone there on task force, and I happened to know the general manager because he used to be the GM at the JW Marriott in Mumbai. So
Okay.
he said, "You're going nowhere," and we sat down, we talked about it, and yeah, that's how I was at the JW Marriott in Phuket after that.
Wow.
So yeah, you
Yeah, and
never say never,
yeah, you never say never. Yeah, and like how Richard Branson says, right? You say yes first, and then you figure it out.
and then you figure it out.
Yeah, that was one of his favorite books, I think, so that I kind of read just during my the Times of India Femina time, Femina days, where
Yeah.
things were kind of just beginning to happen for Goa, and I think we were all like can I liberally say, some of us were the chosen ones for the baptism by fire, as I call it. Yeah, because Goa kind of just opened up, and you had suddenly designers from different from rest of the country, from Bombay, actually choosing Goa to kind of come and settle down, right? We were just all
That's right.
there,
Yeah.
waiting for it to kind of for that bubble to kind of happen and erupt, and that's it, yeah. And I'm very
Being at
glad
the right place at the
that
right
those
time, I guess,
right place at the right time and the right people,
and the right
Shannon,
people. Yeah, yeah,
and the right people, right? And our lives
yeah.
just changed. Thank God. Thank God for that. Yeah. So yeah, exciting time for, that I also remember. And therefore, it brings me to my next question. As a professional in the hospitality industry with a good, I think, 25 years now, in your pocket, what core issues do you currently foresee for your industry? And we're talking all, in the scenario of, the pandemic, right? And post-pandemic, getting out of it. What are the solutions that you can suggest to turn these problems around? Because you and I know that the world, so as to say, has just had like a reset, so to say.
Uh, let's just face it. I mean, the world has been locked down for the last, well, 30 months. So
Yes.
good, yeah, almost 2 years, that
Yeah.
from 2020, March 2020, that the world shut down. So
Yes.
people have kind of realized the importance of travel. In the past, it would be, okay, let's see when, what happens. And of course, now that the world is opening up and that countries are lifting their restrictions, there is going to be a surge in the number of applications into visa centers. So if you look at
Yes.
VFS, for example, I was at the VFS office last month in Bombay, and it was packed. First of all, getting an appointment for a visa was next to impossible. So if you have the right connects, then you kind of manage
Yes.
to get it. Otherwise, you've got to wait a month or two, sometimes depending on which country you're applying to to get your visa application in. So that, I guess, is a fallout of people being frustrated in not being able to travel for so long. As some
Correct.
people like to call it, it's called revenge tourism,
Yes.
where
Yes.
people finally are like being let out of jail, so as to speak, and they just want to travel. And also, what they've seen is the importance of spending time together with friends, with family. So they're taking family holidays together. But what that
Correct.
also does for the industry is it puts pressure on the infrastructure. So be it from visas to even the airlines. I mean, with the airlines also, if you look at the fares right now, They're
Yes,
through the
yes,
roof right now.
absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah,
irrespective of what destination. I mean, in the past, if you're talking about a fare from India to Europe, it would be about 30,000 rupees. Now it's nothing
correct.
short of 80,000 rupees. 80,000
Hmm.
rupees used to be a business fare at once upon a time. But
Yes.
so the two things that I'd see immediately would be visas and your high skyrocketing prices of the airfares. Also, hotels. In the past, you had the option of, okay, I know if I don't get this hotel, I'll get the other. But hotels are
Hmm.
running full. I can say that for us also, for our hotels in Thailand. We've seen a surge from different countries. And it all comes back to something that we Indians are not really used to, planning.
Yes. Yes.
So it's if you're
Yes.
looking at a holiday, it has to be planned in advance. You also
Hmm.
need to make sure that you're constantly keeping yourself updated on the country that you're going to, be on their websites, checking out to see what are the travel restrictions, what are the
Yes.
vaccination policies required, because you don't want to reach there and then be turned back. I mean,
Yeah.
as of the recent past, I mean, Maldives were doing very well from India. Last year, I remember India was in the top three source markets for the Maldives. And
Hmm.
one of the factors that has kind of this year not seen too many Indians really getting a chance to travel is because of the last minutes. Because now
Hmm.
the other
Okay.
markets have started traveling to the Maldives. So, be it UK,
Hmm.
Germany, Australia, Russia, they're all traveling to the Maldives. So, they plan in advance. With the
Yes.
Indian market, it's like, okay, next week, what am I doing? Let's go for a holiday. Let's do Maldives. So even
Yeah.
with our hotels, I keep on getting these calls from agents saying, "Help me out," and I'm like, "Well, we don't have the rooms available, so there's not much I can do with that." So
Hmm.
planning
Hmm.
is a big factor. From a visa perspective, I know that VFS are doing their best. I had spoken to one of their senior management, uh, uh, and he was talking to me about something called digital submission. So they're looking at doing things like allowing you to submit your documents online,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
or at least not submit, at least to review the documents, so you make sure that you've got all the documents in place. They're also looking at starting door to door, like a kind of end to end personalized
Oh,
service, so personalized assistance
very
that
interesting.
VFS will be
Very
offering.
interesting.
And more important is the appointment system. So
Hmm.
periodically, if you review your appointments to make sure that you get, because depending on which country you're looking at, the
Yes.
visa time would differ. So to get your visa for Europe could be anywhere between 8 to 14 working days, whereas if you're looking
Okay.
at the UK, it could go to 6 weeks to 8 weeks, or the US could be even longer. Getting an
Hmm.
appointment would be
Hmm.
more difficult. So
Oh, okay.
the one point,
Okay.
planning.
Yeah, yeah. I'm quite the one to do last minute travel, plans that way too.
Me
Say,
too.
oh, we have a long, we have a long weekend coming up.
Yeah.
Let me just go, and travel. Because when I traveled to Cambodia, which was recently last month, luckily for me, I had my visa in 24 hours. 24 hours, which was all applied online. I sent my stuff in, and it was just done. So what you're saying is that. Uh, Prior planning is good because of the pressure that you're saying that is
That's
felt
correct.
by
Yeah.
yeah by embassies and hotels and stuff, because Cambodia was buzzing, Shannon, when I went. They were like, the flights were all going in full. The airport was like, you know full of people because of the visa on
Yeah.
arrival too, which I think is a great
Correct.
idea as well,
Yes.
you know
Yeah. Yeah.
which facilitates a lot of people just to pick up flights and and then go, and then I guess
Yeah. I mean,
the local
Cambodia,
economy.
Thailand, they have the visa on arrival, which makes it
Yeah.
easier, especially for the Indian market. But the fact is that while you would get your visa on arrival, your hotel choice might not be there. So that's the
Yes.
reason why, even with a destination within Asia, it's
Correct.
important that you plan in advance.
In advance, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're right, you're right. Also, I think, and you must correct me if I'm wrong here. There's also a change in taste, the way people are traveling, because I see in Malaysia too, people are kind of also moving off the cuff in terms of finding homestays, finding studios that they can pick up. You know what I'm saying, Shannon? It's like an alternative concept to Airbnb. because I also kind of have a lot of friends who tell me, can you suggest homestays for us instead of hotels, or can we just rent out an apartment, say, for a week or 15 days and stuff like that. So I see that little kind of shift also happening, and I'm sure you also sense that.
Uh,
Would you say that?
yes and no, because uh, what you cannot control when you're looking at a non-branded kind of establishment is
Hmm.
the safety and hygiene factor.
Yeah, that is
Now,
correct.
that would probably have been the case earlier, but
Hmm.
I would think for someone who's looking at international travel, this is a key factor post pandemic, whether the hotels or
Hygiene.
the establishment that you're going to are
Yeah.
actually following the protocol. Because
Hmm.
the last
Okay.
thing that
Okay.
you want to do is get stuck with
Yeah,
COVID in a foreign country,
that is
because
correct.
that's when the meter starts ticking, and then there's
Yes.
no stopping it. Because you might have your insurance, but some of the insurances would not kick in until you're hospitalized. And if you don't get a
Hmm.
bed, which would mean you'd have to be quarantined in the hotel that you're staying at,
Hmm.
and that
Hmm.
probably might not be taken care of by your insurance. So I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
what I have seen is a lot more shift towards branded hotels,
Okay.
because they know that with a brand, you are safe, you know that standards and protocol are being followed. And at the end
Correct.
of the day, it's all about making sure that you get back home safely and not catch COVID whilst you're traveling.
Yes. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. That's a good point to moot. Correct. Which also kind of leads me to my next question. Because I'm seeing that I think since Jan that I've been traveling, the Middle East and then Cambodia and now back in Malaysia, the Asia, India, and Middle East markets are buzzing, Shannon, and I'm sure
Absolutely.
you also sense
Yes,
that, right? Yeah, they're looking very upbeat
absolutely.
because yeah, I saw that in Dubai. Like for example, we were discussing Saudi Arabia was kind of was just out there doing its thing. Of course, Malaysia has always been very 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 proactive. Thailand, of course, has been very proactive. So we are definitely looking at the Asia, India, and the Middle East markets, looking very upbeat about travel. I want to hear your opinion on this and
Yeah, it's
what
true. I mean,
why.
uh, number one, it's short haul destinations. So
Hmm.
ease of getting to the destination is better as compared to long haul. Number two
Okay.
is in terms of value for money, no better place than Asia, be it Indonesia, Vietnam,
Hmm.
Malaysia, or Thailand. It's all
Correct.
about value for money. So, depending on the amount you want to spend, you've got the kind of accommodation for your budget. And number
Yes.
three, it's also about uh, with India, for example, it's people post pandemic or during the pandemic have realized that how much do I really know of my own country?
Hmm.
So, especially from a family perspective, the parents have realized that, okay, fine, maybe this is an opportunity to explore your own country. I mean, I remember as a child myself, my parents made it a point to ensure that twice a year at least we had a holiday, and we were not well to do. We made it a
Hmm.
point
Hmm. Hmm.
nevertheless to have a holiday from either Kashmir all the way down to Kanyakumari. So I've seen a fair bit of India during my childhood, all thanks to my parents' belief that we need to first know your own country before you think of
Yes.
traveling outside. So I think a lot
Nice.
of people are coming back home to understand their own country before they decide on international travel. So yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
India,
Hmm.
Asia, and the Middle East have been key destinations as also source markets. I mean,
Hmm. Correct. You
for
mentioned that
Thailand
to me. Yeah.
specifically, yeah, I mean, we've always had Qatar, you've always had UAE, but Saudi has been closed to Thailand for the last 30 years. There was a ban on travel
Yeah.
for people from
Correct.
Saudi to travel into Thailand, and as of February only is when the ban was lifted. So all of a sudden we've seen a surge. So that's been our dark horse for this year. So for destinations like
Hmm.
Phuket and Samui, it's
Yes.
sudden. burst of tourism from these destinations. I mean, as we speak right now, in our hotel in Samui, we have a fam trip going on where we have 15 of the top travel agents from Saudi Arabia staying with us, exploring the
Oh,
destination because all they've heard
wow.
about Thailand has been about the beaches and the nightlife.
Hmm.
But there's so
Right.
much more to Thailand, right from if you're looking up north to Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, it's about those beautiful hills or the elephant camps that we've got there, down to the
Mm-hmm.
south, where you've, of course, got the beaches, but then the different cuisines. And then shopping is such a big part of Thailand. So
Yes.
they were amazed at
Yes.
the amount of malls that you've got across, even in Bangkok, on one street, on the Sukhumvit street, you've got malls going from the start right through till the end, and
Absolutely.
they're
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah.
And for various budgets. So if you're looking at designer, you're looking at brands, be it
Mm.
your Gucci or your Chanel or any, you've got them all in the malls and at a reasonable price as compared to what you get in the GCC. So yes,
Yes.
they are learning a little bit more about the destination, and so which is why you'd see a lot more tourism from these countries into the likes of Thailand. Malaysia has always had the Saudi market coming in,
Yes. Correct.
but yeah, with Thailand opening
Correct.
up, I think you're going to have a little bit of competition with Malaysia and Thailand on that front. Yeah,
I think so too. But very interestingly, Saudi is also now promoting tourism, which was
that's
unheard
correct.
of, yeah, because I've been seeing adverts here and there, and in at the expo in Dubai, the entire focus was Saudi tourism, Shannon. And I was like, wow, wow, this is the 21st century,
Yeah.
and they were talking about tours into the desert and stuff like that, uh, which
Yeah.
I
At
thought
the
was
ATM, the Arabian Travel Mart in Dubai,
hmm, hmm.
Saudi had the largest pavilion and the best. Of course, they won the award for the best pavilion, but they
Yes,
had one of those massive pavilions. Even at Sateh, I was at Sateh in Delhi in Noida a couple of weeks ago. They had the
correct.
largest pavilion there. So you're right on that front. They are promoting tourism like never before.
Hmm. And very interesting,
And
very interesting. I've
yeah,
never been to Saudi before, and this calls for a good trip to Thailand too, because I've had some really fun memories of Bangkok. In different times that I've been there. Once with my daughter, the other time on work. I kind of made a few friends in Bangkok too, from media. So yeah, there's a trip coming up,
a
Shannon.
person like you, as far if you're a foodie, there is no
Yeah.
place like Bangkok. I mean, right from
Yes.
the
Absolutely.
Michelin
Yeah.
restaurants to every cuisine, whether you're looking at Spanish, Italian, Latin, you've got every
Yeah.
cuisine available in
Yeah, yeah,
Bangkok itself.
absolutely.
So
All you need is appetite.
that's correct.
All you need is appetite. Yeah, yeah. So a Thailand trip, I think so, is on my agenda now. And also you're there, and you also have Urak. You said,
Cheers to that.
just that. Great. So yes, so you were recently in India, and I know I saw all the photographs, that were out, promoting your brand of resorts, right?
Mhm,
Can
mhm.
I would like you to share. I would like you to share with our audiences, my audiences, about what your brand of resorts is all about. I've seen the website. I've seen the photographs. They look surreal. It is so beautiful. But I think the entire Southeast Asia is so beautiful anyway. Which it's like a different part of paradise actually, where you have everything, which is all in some sort of a natural balance, as I call it. So please share what makes your chain of resorts stand out from the others, and what makes it so special that you are still hooked to it too, Shannon.
Well, our parent company is Minor Hotels, and under Minor Hotels, we've got different brands. The Anantara was the first brand
Hmm.
of Minor, and Anantara is a Sanskrit word. It's actually embodying the concept of hospitality within the brand. Uh, in Thailand, as you know, everyone knows about hospitality and Thailand are synonymous, but there's
Yes.
a word called Nam Jai. Nam in Thai means water. Jai
Okay.
means heart. So literally, if you translate it, it's water from the heart. So there's a little story goes behind it. Uh,
Hmm.
in old Thailand, you would have outside every house a pot of water placed for the traveler. So you would have people who would be on a journey and they would stop by drinking water from outside someone's home and they didn't even know who the person was. So it came
Okay.
to embody the essence of Thai hospitality, which was about giving water from the heart. So basically, hospitality. And
Wow. Okay.
Anantara as a brand is all about being indigenous. It's all about stories. So what differentiates Anantara from the other brands is every resort has got a story to tell, which is indigenous to the place that it is in. Like for example, if we look at the Anantara Boput in Koh Samui, one of the hotels that I look after. If you're walking around the resort, you'd see these little figurines of monkeys, and you'd see statues of monkeys and holding coconuts, and you're like, wait, hold on. I know Thailand about elephants. What's monkeys got to do
Yes.
with the whole resort here? And then
Yes.
what that does is it helps you engage in conversation with the team, and you ask them, okay, what's so special about these monkeys that you have these figurines all over? And then they tell you the story that in Boput, particularly, they have a
Okay.
huge amount of coconut plantation, and you have the locals using the help of monkeys to climb the trees to pluck coconuts.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh, really?
indigenous
Wow.
to Boput, to Samui. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's
Okay.
why it's a part of it. I mean, if you look at every resort, we have a story to tell. I mean, if you look at the Qasr Al Sarab in Abu Dhabi, you're in the midst of the desert. So there they have their own story. If you look at Phuket, the Anatara Mike How, where it's all about the Turtle Foundation. So you'll have turtles all around, figurines of turtles, and they'll tell you a little bit of the story of the local area. So yeah, it's all about stories. Anantara is a journey that tells you stories. So
Right.
that
And
helps to set
you have
us apart from.
from the rest of them. Correct. You have a brand in Malaysia as well, right?
So in Malaysia, we have the Avani, which is in Sepang. That's a beautiful resort with overwater villas. I think we got about 300 villas over there. Beautiful resort.
Wow.
Of
Wow.
course, we're looking at a lot more development in Malaysia. But yeah, as of right now, I think that's the only resort we've got there. But we've got resorts all across, be it in Australia, we've got the brand, the Oaks. Then across Europe, we have NH Hotels. We have the Tivoli in Portugal, in Spain, Italy, all across Europe. So we've got about 300 odd hotels, 397 hotels in Europe, across Europe itself. And then,
Wow.
yeah, Maldives, we've got 5 hotels in the Maldives. So we've got the Anantara, we've got a Niyama. So
Wow.
it's a good portfolio that we've got, and considering that we're not as old as the other hotel brands, because Anantara was founded as recent as 2004. So that's when you had the first Anantara opening up. Before that,
Okay.
the company Minor Hotels owned and managed hotels under the Marriott brand. That's where the handover actually happened
Okay.
with me, because I used to work for the JW
Oh,
Marriott Phuket, which is owned by
okay.
Minor Hotels. So,
Okay. Okay. All
so
right.
yeah, so
Yeah.
we were an
Wow.
ownership company as also we manage hotels. So I mean
Sounds
there's
exciting.
a story to that one also. Minor, the word minor. Why Minor Hotels?
I was
Our
going to ask you
founder,
that. Yes, I was
Mr.
going to ask you that.
Yeah, Mr. William Heineke. He's American by birth, but when he started his first company, uh, he was a minor. He couldn't even sign his own checks, and
Oh, okay.
that was the reason why the brand today he's uh, in his late 60s or 70 early 70s, but his company is called Minor, and it's as diverse as not just hotels. So whether it's food, I mean, you come into Thailand, Swenson's, Burger King, Sizzlers, Dairy Queen, Coffee Club, that all comes under the Minor portfolio. And if you're
Okay.
looking
Wow.
at you coming into Thailand shopping, Boston, Charles and Keith, and it all under the Minor portfolio.
Okay. That is
So it's
huge. Very huge.
yeah. So it's not really
Yeah.
minor, but it's minor.
Okay, and of all the hotels that your group owns and manages, how many places have you been to, Shannon? I like that. I want to hear. I want to know
Uh,
that.
I have traveled a fair bit in my career. I've had the opportunity to travel to, I would say, close to about 50 countries. Uh,
Wow. Okay.
yeah, so I mean, be it from the Maldives to Tanzania, we've got some great hotels in Tanzania. Uh, Across Europe, we've got, quite, as I said, quite a few hotels.
Hmm.
Malaysia, of course, Vietnam, Cambodia. So yeah, I've seen quite a few of the hotels because at one point of time I was in the role of the global sales office for Minor. So I had opened the office for Minor Hotels in India way
Okay.
back in 2012, and that's when I made it my business, even if it meant taking a family holiday at my own expense, making
Hmm.
sure that we went to our hotels so that I'd also learn while we had a holiday together. And
Yes.
well, that has helped me to understand destinations also across. I mean, one of my favorite destinations, one of my favorite holidays, and one of my most expensive holidays also was Tanzania. I mean, you'd be amazed at that destination, what it has to offer. I mean, it's, as they say, it's probably as God wanted the world to be. It is
Hmm.
untouched. The Serengeti
Wow.
it's words fail to kind of describe your experience when you're driving through the Serengeti.
Wow.
So yeah,
Sounds so
we've
romantic to me already. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. That's. I think that's going to be the place probably. That.
yeah.
Yeah. To kind of keep
Of
there
course,
as a
I
bucket.
was doing most of the fly swatting because in the Serengeti and in Tanzania, when you're out on one of these safaris, you have those tsetse flies, which
Yes.
they're said to be fatal after you've got a few stings from them. But
Okay.
so I had my wife on one side with her camera, my daughter on the other side, and I was at the back there swatting flies in one of those open jeeps. Yeah, so it was fun, a fun
It was fun,
experience.
yeah. It sounds like complete fun, complete fun. And I'm so glad, that we are doing work that allows us, gives us the freedom to travel. Correct. So
True that.
you know what I'm saying, yeah. And
Yeah,
I think it's a very, we are blessed in that sense that our professions chose us literally, you know, from what we are doing now to the kind of
true
experiences
that.
that we've had, in that way. On that note, I'm going to take a short little break, and we come back soon. Yeah,
Sure,
Shannon.
I'm right here.
Yeah, so, yeah. So sip your urak, and I'm going to sip
Beverage.
my tea. Beverage. All right. See you soon, buddy. See you soon.
Hey guys, welcome to the Mac Clinic. We've spoken about pickles, we've done Botox, we've talked about fillers, but today we have something special lined up for you. We are about to showcase the XLV by Cutera, which is a long pulse laser, and we have a very special guest with us today. Come on. So here we are preparing the XLV laser, but I did mention that we have a special guest. So here she is, Dr. Ong. Say hi, Ong. The award-winning XLV laser by Cutera is a state-of-the-art long pulse laser from the United States. It is best in class for vascular lesions and is used by famous models such as Kendall Jenner. It is multifunctional and tones, rejuvenates as well as lifts with virtually no downtime. It is a walk-in, walk-out treatment done in less than 15 minutes. Comfortable and perfect for those busy days. And to top it all off, the Mac Clinic owns the only working XLV laser in Malaysia. So, we just finished with the Cutera XLV Laser Genesis. So Dr. Ong, that took about How long?
About 15 to 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty quick lunchtime procedure, I would say.
Was there any discomfort at all for you?
To be honest, I only felt slightly warm. Other than that, it was relatively comfortable. And I would also like to add on that actually it is a very quick, effective and hassle-free laser treatment, as you don't need prior numbing, and it only takes about 15 to 20 minutes and then you're good to go.
So there you go. The XLV Laser Genesis. Available only at your favorite clinic, the Mac Clinic.
Okay, that was a good break. And as I said, welcome to the next, I think, 30 minutes, of the next hall of my heart to heart with Ethel Da Costa in association with the Mac Clinic, Malaysia. So Shannon, yes, going back into our conversation, taking it further, you have a very stressful, kind of way of life, and so do I. But I think through experience and experience, maturity, and everything that we've been through life, we've kind of also learned to kind of understand how to bring about a balance, right, between our work life and our and our own personal lives. What is your favorite way to de-stress off work?
Netflix. I'll be honest. Hey, the fact is that you are right on that front, but I don't have any of those fancy hobbies and things like that at this age. You just want your downtime and your me time. And
So no golf and stuff. Is that what you're saying?
well,
Fancy,
I
fancy.
did do that when I was in Phuket because I was working on at a resort which was on a golf course. So yeah, on the weekend I would have a friend of mine. He was Japanese, not surprising, and he would call me and say,
Yes.
"Okay, come on, let's go golf." And I'm like, "Are you serious?
Yeah.
Just give me a break." But then, of course, he had his way, so I would land up on the golf course. But no, I mean, as of the recent past, especially with the sudden burst in all markets opening up, we've had to play catch up, especially given the fact that during the pandemic, we had to do the unfortunate of letting go of some of our staff. So it
Correct.
means there's the work of 10 people being done by 3 or 4. So especially keeping in mind the different time zones we work with and the different markets that we work with, I could be in office from probably 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. because it depends
Yes.
on what market I'm talking. I'm talking to my global sales offices in Europe. I'll be making those
Correct.
calls late at night, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. Or if it's the
Correct.
US, it's a little later. Or if it is my Australian GSO, I'd be talking to him in the morning. So I'm in the office by 7:30, 8 o'clock. So yeah, when you get your me time, all you want to do is
Netflix.
nothing. And of course, my favorite beverage.
Yes, I know. Lucky you.
I've got some good
Lucky
friends who
you.
made sure that when they come into Thailand, they make sure I've got my stock. So I can't
Yeah.
complain.
That reminds me. I have a buddy of mine coming from Bombay very soon. Maybe I should just kind of nudge him towards telling him, I think this is my wish list. Can you get it for me?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I think mine is action movies. I'm a huge action movie buff. Like how, so even before coming, Heart to Heart is happening now. I watched this other movie called The Ambulance or something, and I was like, wow, it's like it's
Okay.
Michael Bay. Yeah, it's action packed. So
So
I
is
love
that
action
also
movies.
Netflix?
No, it's not an. I have my own secret site that I go and
Okay.
watch all my movies, on, because as soon as it's out, it's kind of announced. It's just there on that site. So I will not share the link with you because, as I said, it is my secret site.
Maybe I'll get
But
an
yeah,
office.
yeah, correct. So I love action movies. Because I find them very, I distress,
De-stressing.
within. Yeah, completely. And you kind of just switch off the brain, and yeah, it's just the visuals that is catching up with you.
Mhm.
Correct. Yeah, and of course, and food. Malaysia has so much of, so much variety of food, that you can kind of binge on. If you're not too careful, you could just extra binge sometimes.
Well, that's
So
why I love
yes,
Thailand, because I love Thai food. That is, I would
yeah,
say, probably my favorite cuisine after Goan. So yeah,
yeah,
I'm literally home here. When people say Thailand your second home, I say yeah, it is absolutely.
yeah, yeah. As I was telling you, Malaysia is second home, and they're like, how?
Yeah.
I said, I have no clue, but it is what it is. Which brings me to ask you, Goan to Goan, do you what do you miss about Goa, and why? And as a professional, as a global tourist destination, where does Goa compare? And I think we should be very frank about this, Shannon, because
Yeah.
you know um, we are looking at it now from the outside, in that sense.
So for me, Goa is all about family and friends.
Hmm.
The best thing about the pandemic was I got to have that sabbatical, what people talk about,
Hmm.
um, at
Yeah.
an age where I could actually enjoy it. So even
Yes.
though I would be working, it would be based on, okay, where do they have a strong Wi-Fi signal? And
Hmm.
then I would be probably at one of the beach shacks or one of the cafes, sitting down there with a bottle of some beverage in my hand and working. And well,
Right.
hey, I remember someone once said, when you're comfortable, you can do anything, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was
Absolutely true.
my best time, because it also gave me time to spend with my daughter. She's now 17, so gave me a chance to kind of go out
Hmm.
there, teach her driving,
Hmm.
go for our morning walks, and I never missed a day during that period of time that I was there for my morning walk. So it was a much more healthy living.
Hmm.
Every evening, catching up with friends, going out, having a cup of tea or coffee, or going to our favorite tatos or somewhere to
Yeah.
have a little snack. But it helped me understand the importance of what Goa was to me. And
Yes.
it is all about family and friends. And that's something that will always stay true. And even for my daughter, irrespective of where her journey takes her,
Hmm.
Goa will always be home for her.
Yes.
Coming to your question on where do I see Goa in terms of the global tourism front, I think Goa has a lot of potential, and I would love to be a part of a kind of think tank group to
Hmm.
talk about my experiences and what I could bring to the table over there. Because I remember the first time I came into Thailand when I was in Phuket, uh, way back 2007, and I had to describe to my wife about the destination. I was explaining to her the parallels of Anjuna, Vagator, and Kalangut, the
Hmm.
similar topography that existed across Surin, Kamala, and Patong. So
Okay.
we have the topography, we have already the kind of God-given uh, sites that we've got in Goa. But I think
Yes.
we have to do a better job in making sure that it's promoted right. And
Hmm.
Goa is not about just the beaches. It is
Yes.
about the culture, the food, uh, even the unexplored. I mean, when I this time, this is pandemic time, there was so much of Goa
Hmm.
that I didn't know of. So I was
Yes.
doing things like the waterfalls, the spice plantations, and it was a different feel to the Goa that we all talk about. Goa is not just a
Correct.
party place. It's not just about the churches and temples. It's about
Yes.
getting into the local culture. And I remember on one of these trips that we had, we actually had a program which was arranged in a local Goan Hindu house where we sat down on the floor to eat a local meal.
Hmm.
And that is
Wow.
the essence of Goa that I think we need to start promoting rather than just talking about beaches and cheap tourism.
Yes, yeah, I completely agree with you because in Malaysia too, every time I say I'm from Goa, the next prompted answer is that, oh, party, party, and you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying, and I'm saying that, yeah,
absolutely.
of course, yeah,
I mean, people
it
ask
is.
me, you must be knowing all about the rave parties. And I said,
Yeah, Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
But you're
I
from
don't.
Goa. I said, yes, but that is not the Goa that I grew up with.
Correct.
So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It is part of it, but there's so much more to it. And then I kind of get on to my kind of 5 minute kind of um, promoting Goa, so to say, right? And it could be anyone from a corporate office to my Grab driver, who suddenly say, "Oh, where are you from?" And I say, "Oh, I'm from Goa." I say, "Oh, party place, party, that kind of thing." I say, but dude, it's also this and this and that, that way. So
Ethel, I'm going to ask
I
you
know
a
what you
question
say.
now.
Yes.
When
Ask
someone
me.
asks you, where are you from?
Yeah.
Why do you say, I'm from Goa
Yes.
and not from India?
Yeah. I think that has become a habit for me now, because that's literally what I say, right? So now I've kind
Yeah.
of changed the narrative and I ask them, where do you think I am from? And it's amazing to hear the kind of they tell me, Egypt, Ethiopia, Spain, Brazil. I'm like, okay, I could be from anywhere, right? And then I tell them, my hometown is Goa, and Goa is a former, Portuguese colony. And say, oh my God, but you don't look Indian at all. I said, oh well, I'm from Goa. Yeah, because I think, come on, Shannon. I think all of us say that, that we are from Goa and we don't say India, right?
I get
And I
I
tell
get
them,
made fun of because of that.
yeah, and people say that, but Goa is part of India, right? So it means you're Indian. I said, I'm from Goa. That's it. Period. Let's not get into this Goa and India
Yep.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, but we're all so proud of Goa. I think we're all ambassadors
absolutely.
of Goa wherever that we are, and yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Whether it's India or Goa. I think we just
Yeah.
put it out there to say that this is our
Identity.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our identity, and we're very proud of it. And I'm so very proud that that Shannon, that my father brought us back from the Middle East to Goa. Because I remember I was so against coming back. Like absolutely, even when we were, we had a flight to catch, and I remember locking myself in the bathroom, saying, "I'm not coming," means I'm not coming. I don't want to go
We
back to
all went
India.
through that. We all went through that. For me, it
And then
was
we were
moving from
just,
Bombay to Goa, and I was like, no, I
yeah,
am not coming to
yeah,
Goa. Yeah, but
correct. And
once you get
yeah,
in there, it changes your
yes,
life. Yeah.
yeah, and
I remember
and
meeting
I'm
you
so,
when we were doing. You were doing Femina. You were with Times of India, and those
yes,
were the
that's
days I
correct.
used to be with Times FM, and we'd be crossing each other all the time. But
Yeah,
if I was probably in a bigger metro, I wouldn't have had those kind of opportunities, and that's why I'm thankful to Goa.
yes,
Yeah, I mean, we moved to Goa in 1991, and it's it's
yeah.
it's been a game changer for us.
Correct. Yeah. No, I think I'm extremely grateful to Goa for the kind of opportunities, right, that I think Goa gave me to make my whole life and my whole career, and all
Yeah,
the blessings that I experienced today. It is all thanks to Goa and all the opportunities, whether it was media, whether it was starting Thingy, all my buddies who are in Goa, the kind of life that I created for myself, for my girls. Oh my God,
yeah,
I'm extremely grateful. So yeah, so we are from Goa, Shannon. That is it.
yeah.
Right. Okay. So what does the future look like for you? I mean, from now to wherever, what does the
I
future look
always
like?
love this question, and especially if there's one thing the pandemic has taught me, it's one day at a time.
One day at a time.
Uh,
Yes.
Absolutely. That is my favorite hymn, and that is my motto. I am optimistic. I am, as I say, hoping for the best, but
Hmm.
I guess we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We've just
Absolutely
got to be
correct.
prepared for the worst, hope for the
Yeah.
best, as they say.
Yes.
But in
Yeah.
all honesty, I think for me, I think I'll always be in hospitality. In
Hmm.
what role, which country, which destination, I don't know. But for me, it's about hospitality. I'm passionate about hospitality.
Yes. Yeah. And I completely resonate, because for me, it is also one day at a time. You wake up grateful that you've woken up alive and healthy. And
Yep.
that we have, as I said, we have the opportunity to do what we love, in our lives, along, with our work as well. So it will always be media for me too, Shannon. I mean, that is my vocation. Anything and everything that I've done with my life, all my blessings have all come from being a part of the media industry. And my intention also is to contribute as much as I can to Malaysia, yeah, in the field that I am in, as a writer, as a destination influencer, as a journalist, as a, as a PR professional. What I'm also doing
Yeah.
now in Malaysia, with the brands that I work with, is all in the media field, media PR field. And when you come to Malaysia, I'm going to take you around, to some of the places that have are also game changers here. The kind of talent that I'm, meeting and working with, it's fantastic, Shannon. And
It's
they're
been a
on
while. I
par.
was there 2016 last, so yeah, I think
Yes.
I'm due a trip to Malaysia.
Yeah. I would love that, to kind of, to showcase it to you. Some of the talent that that I'm very grateful for being a part of their lives and their professional lives as well. They are international. They could be anywhere in the world, right from, restaurants, chefs, in the beauty industry. I'm only part of the media industry in Malaysia too. It's really awesome, and I look at it as it's these are blessings, Shannon, and I'm sure you agree with that
Yeah,
too. It's what we
absolutely,
call,
absolutely.
it's good karma. It's good karma because and you can feel that in your, very deep soul level, that you are taken where you are meant to be. And I have very very strong spiritual, faith too. And the universe, God, whatever the names are, waters you where you are planted, and I'm sure you agree with that as well.
Absolutely agree with you.
No?
Couldn't agree with you more. I
Yeah.
mean, you are where you are meant to be. And I've also always believed that you've always got to believe you've got someone watching over you.
Yes.
And that is where you, I mean, the fact is that we don't know what tomorrow is bringing us. But
Yes.
at the end of the day, it is about having the faith that I am where I am supposed to be. And
Correct.
anything that happens for a reason, whether it's
Yeah.
good or bad, there's a reason. And we've all had
Yes.
those experiences in our lives where you're wondering at that point of time, why me? Why me?
Yeah. Correct.
And then before
Yeah.
you know it, you see the reasons as to why it is you. So you just
Yes.
have to have
Yeah.
faith and move on.
Yeah. There's a nice quote I read, and I think that it's so it's so enriching. It completely shifted the way I look at it too. Life doesn't happen for you, or something like that, right? Life happens, where it's meant to take you to your kind of, to your highest potential, or your highest growth that you can possibly imagine. So you just let life happen, correct?
Happen. Yeah.
The way,
Life is a
it has.
journey, as like we
Yeah.
like to say it in Anantara. Life is a journey. That's a tagline.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And but all of us get so focused on the destination, right? We kind of, lose the
Yep.
the
Yep. Yep.
nuance of what the journey is all about, which is actually the most important part of
Important part of it. Yeah.
who important part of, what we are meant to create while being here on this planet. So I would like to hear three leadership goals that you believe in and why they are so important to you.
Well, I'll put it down to three P's, as I call them. Number one, and this is something that has come about over the last couple of years, especially during the pandemic, where I heard a lot of complaints. Oh, why is this happening? Oh, I've had a salary cut. Oh, I've lost my job. Instead of enjoying the moment. So, number one would be
Yes.
positivism. Be positive. No matter what, it's that positive outlook in life that will take you through every single situation in life. And as
Yeah.
long as you're positive, you can take on anything. Happiness, everyone talks about. I believe happiness is something from within. You don't let the outside forces control whether you're happy or you're not. So being positive
Yes.
is number one. Number two is passion. Passion in whatever you do. Because for me, when people, right from an early age, I realize that sales is not a job.
Yeah.
Sales is a passion. You either have it
Hmm.
or you don't. And when people treat sales as a 9 to 5, I just tell them straight away, you're in the wrong industry. I mean, especially in sales, you'd be getting calls at 1 o'clock in the morning sometimes. Saturday, Sunday, there are no weekends. You'll end
Hmm.
up spending a lot of time on the phone with your customers because these are people who believe in you. They believe in what you have to offer, and they support
Correct.
you because support your product because of you.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
you've got to make
Very
sure
true.
that you believe in what you're doing and be passionate about it. And number
Yeah.
three is perseverance. No
Hmm.
matter what life throws at you. I mean, I remember way back in my college days when I was working at the same time as studying. I was working for a company that was into investments in plantations. You must have heard of them.
Hmm.
We're talking
Okay.
about in 94, 95. Yeah. So it would mean that I would be knocking on people's doors at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., because that's when the family gets together to make a decision on investment. We would have
Yeah.
doors slammed in our faces. But as long
Hmm.
as you persevere, you keep on pushing yourself, you keep on having, as they call it, a thick skin, uh,
Yes.
you get to be that person where you believe that there is no compromise for hard work. You
Hmm. Hmm.
persevere and you will be rewarded. Profitability comes out of your perseverance. And
Correct.
I think a lot has to do with also the way your journey shapes up. So quite often you'd find people who are what what they say born with a silver spoon, and they don't realize, and they think it's just their degrees that are going to get them to the next stage. Yes, degrees are
Hmm.
important, but it's also
Hmm.
important to have that amount of perseverance to understand that there are no shortcuts in life. It is about the efforts that
Yes.
you put
Yeah.
in. What you put in is what you're going to take out. So yeah, those
Yeah.
are my 3 P's. That's what I kind of hope to live by for the rest of my career.
Yeah, I love that. Be positive, passion, and perseverance. Actually, they
Perseverance.
also kind of read like goals or leadership traits to have to be a successful entrepreneur as well. Somebody told me, when I was launching Think Geek, right, that
Hmm.
to be an entrepreneur, you need to be shameless because you have to you have to keep you have to keep as you said, right, persevering, right, into what you want to do because you so passionately believe in it, and not to take anything personal because it is it is not personal, and just stick on to it, with passion and purpose, and yeah, and yeah, I agree with that. Somehow between us, horses or old horses, as we would call ourselves,
Right.
the
True
long
that.
marathon horses, the long marathon horses, Shannon, right?
Yeah.
We are
We're
we're the
here for the long
marathon,
run.
yeah, the long run, and you see, the generation now. Sometimes I feel there's a huge kind of, it's like a huge. It's like the Grand Canyon, having to jump from one kind of
Chasm. Yeah.
cliff to the other cliff, yeah, because they just give up so soon, right? I'm sure we
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
have seen that. And I keep telling them, I said, the thing is, it's how you kind of look at yourself, you know, in the long run, not just the short sprints, because I think we are products of a generation that had no access to the internet. We were all,
Hmm.
we picked up a newspaper in the morning to read. All our information came from books. And I remember sitting down hours in the library, even during in my my Herald days, to gather information, that would support
Yep. Yep.
my writing my reports. And I can never forget, Luz Bravo da Costa, sitting down then picking up all the books that I wanted to kind of read for
Yeah.
reference, that would support my reports. And I think these are all the foundation blocks that has helped us to give us such a long innings in our career, because we are still old school. I'm still old school, internet or not.
Yep. Yep.
I
Me
still,
too.
I still
Me
take my
too.
notes down.
Yep.
I still take my notes down. See, I still put my notes down.
You
I
see
still,
this? Yeah. I'm here with my notes too.
yeah, we still write questions. When I go, to interview and stuff, I still, still take down my notes by hand. Yeah, so I completely resonate with what you're saying, and like you mentioned also the 2 years, I think that we all were forced to take a break. Also has helped us kind of reset ourselves, to say, hey, I think we still have, years left in us to still do the things that we
Yep.
want to do,
Yep.
because we're not finished with what we've done. Oh,
True.
there's still more to go, that kind of thing. Yeah. So great. So as you kind of wind down heart to heart, with the video will be out there, and we will also kind of very widely share the video, so that it also supports other professionals, who could learn a couple of things from you. What is your advice to hospitality professionals in India and globally?
I think what's very important in hospitality is the human aspect. Uh, with us getting so busy in making sure that we're out there and taking in as much in the hospitality industry, whether it be in a restaurant, making sure we get as many covers as possible, we're
Yes.
tending to lose out on the human touch, the human aspect.
Hmm. Hmm.
And if you see why Thailand or some of the Southeast Asian countries are successful, it's because they understand that concept, that it is
Yes.
about the details. It's about
Yes.
making someone feel important. It's about guest recognition. It's about making someone feel special. I mean, which are the favorite places you like to go to?
Yeah.
Places where you're recognized, where people walk up to you and recognize you as an individual. I mean, some of my best experiences have been like if I'm staying in a hotel on day 2, they know when I'd
Hmm.
like to get my cappuccino. They know
Hmm.
exactly how I like my eggs. They know
Hmm.
exactly what comes next, and they address me
Yes.
by first name. That's
Yeah.
what makes the difference. And that's something that I guess we need to kind of go back to old school to
Old
understand
school.
what made it so successful. I mean, as Mr. Marriott had said, it's all about, of course, number one, motivating them, training them, and making sure that if we treat our employees right, they'll treat the customer right, and then the customer will come back again and
Yeah.
again. So it is about making
Correct.
sure, number one, taking care of your associates or your employees, as
Yes.
they call them, and then taking care of the guests who will make sure that you have them coming again. But again, it all comes back to attitude. So whenever you
Hmm.
hire, like when I hire for attitude,
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
so much the aptitude, because attitude is something that you cannot really change. Whereas with
Yes.
aptitude, you can
Can be
train,
good.
you
Yeah.
can help them develop the skill sets, but you cannot change a
Correct.
person's attitude.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to sales, he's got to have that right attitude that I'm not in a 9 to 5 job. Sales, as I said,
Hmm.
is a passion. So you have that attitude, I'm here to serve, then you'll
Hmm.
be able to be a success in your career.
Yeah. Well, I like that. I like that. I'm here to serve. Yeah. I like that, because I think that is the whole and
The
soul,
essence
the
of hospitality.
essence of
Yes.
sales, right? Yeah, yeah, correct. Which reminds me of my military days when I was also handling sales. As you know, that was part of the caveat as station director. Most of the clients who I kind of got on board, told me after I left that we were there because of you. And I found that
Yeah.
so you know what I'm saying. I felt so good about it, and said, you're not there anymore, so we don't want to be doing sales with Mirchi,
Absolutely.
that kind of thing.
Because you are a brand.
Yeah.
People believe in you, and irrespective
Yes.
of what product you sell,
Correct.
they would follow you. So whether you're
Yeah.
selling
Yeah.
mobile phones or you're selling room nights, it depends
Right.
on your relationship with them for them to follow you.
Absolutely, absolutely correct. And this is a good reminder for me back again too, because yeah, to kind of reinstill that, that sales is about service, because as you know, uh, the media that we also kind of do is also about creating service, right? To the brands that we work with. This is awesome, Shannon. As you've seen, I've been taking notes when you were speaking. Because so heart to heart is a visual platform, of journalism for me, because I think people now would like to watch, the people who are reading. We see a huge shift there. People don't read anymore, because video is what it is, right? So the heart to heart is my my journalism platform. And in Goa, I still continue to write for the Herald. I have a column there with them called
Okay.
The Stiletto Foodie, where I
Okay.
do, I talk about F&B and travel from the perspective that I see it. So I like it because I think there's a lot of insights that that now you are able to share from a very global perspective because you're looking at it from the outside, inward. So yeah, so you should catch up my column once in
I
a while.
will. I'll make sure I
Yeah,
learn.
yeah. Inshallah, I hope to get a column here in Malaysia as well. Because why not, right? I keep telling them,
Yep.
the outside perspective matters because it is important to understand how the world also sees things from from out within, and you never know, right, what difference it could make, right, in that way.
True that.
Also to be able to share. Yeah, Sharon, this was awesome. This was really awesome
This
talking to
was
you.
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
connecting
you.
with you
Thank you for
back.
this opportunity. And
No,
yeah,
thank
good to
you.
connect with you once again.
Yes, I know. Same here too. Thank you so much for joining. My platform of Heart to Heart with Ethel Da Costa. I love the conversation that we had because as I keep saying, Heart to Heart is about heart to heart conversations. And bringing leaders of their respective fields to kind of share insights into what makes them tick beyond just being corporate geeks or corporate honchos in that sense. So thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing myself in Thailand or seeing you
Look
in
forward. Just
Malaysia.
tell me when.
Yeah, I think let's
Yes,
just
we
do
stay in
this.
touch.
That's it. Yeah, we'll be in touch. I will be in touch with you, and I wish you all the best. And whatever
Thank
that you're
you.
doing, because I see, as I say, I see awesome photos that you put out, where where you're having your lunch and your breakfast, and I'm like, oh my god,
Someone's got to
yeah,
do it. Hey, I can't complain.
someone's got to do it. Yes, beautiful. Thank you, Shannon,
Good.
so much for making
Thanks,
time,
Ethel. Take care.
and I'm
Cheers.
going to see you soon. Bye now.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.